Selamat pagi.
Pagi.
Okay. We waiting for other ya. Okay, good morning Kak Gray. Good morning Kak Fasya. Good morning all. Ayo on cam dulu ya. Good morning Kak Robin, Kak Kayla, Kak Ganes. Hello Kak Lutfi. Good morning Jason. Okay. Once again ya, hi everyone. Good morning. It's great to see you everyone again for our very first all hands meeting ya of 2026. Happy New Year. I hope this fresh energy ya carries us all through an amazing year ahead. Okay, in here we have a very special guest ya with us today. This is Max. Hi Max, how are you doing?
Hi everybody.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. Okay, continue. Okay, Max, I was looking through your LinkedIn profile earlier and I'm honestly blown away by your career path. You've gone from market research at Nielsen to managing government infrastructure and even working as a field scientist in Australia. And I noticed a few career breaks as well, like your deep dives into India and Asia Minor, which I didn't list all here, but they truly add to your unique perspective before that, sorry I'm Ega Permana and with Kardi is host and moderator for today All Hands. Okay, we continue. And just to validate Max, is it this excess diversity of experience that drives your current passion for sustainability and community building?
Yeah, basically I spent maybe like the past 10 to 15 years working in environment. Before we call it sustainability, we just call it environment, right?
Oh, okay, environment
Yeah, now becomes sustainability.
Okay, it is. Okay, we continue to the first question based on your work with indigenous communities and ecological project, what patterns of human nature connection do you find to be universal and which one are clearly culture specific?
Well, basically I just to give like a bit of background, right? I'm Indonesian, but I spent a lot of time abroad working.
Okay.
So I work a lot with indigenous community because I like working in remote areas. So I work in India, I work in Australia, I work in Iran, I work in Nepal, and I work in Indonesia. I work in a lot of places like West Papua, the Dayak community, Sumba, indigenous people. So from my observation, when we talk about indigenous community and also what we call uh, initiative. So basically, it's like this, right? Doesn't matter which country, indigenous community are people who live with nature. basically. They're not separate from nature. And when you work with this kind of community, then you will see a lot of like patterns. First, they don't just take, they do give and take. So they nature is not like a supermarket, you know. So like the indigenous community knows that to live with nature, then you have to give back to nature. Give back can be different, depends on the culture, but this means usually giving care, giving time, giving respect, giving limits. So, and then also like indigenous community usually they understand natural timing. This is what we call season. So for urban people, we 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 don't follow the season. We just like, oh, it's rainy season now, it's annoying, right? While for indigenous people, rainy season means time to plant a certain plant or time to harvest certain type of resources. So they understand they understand season. They follow rainy season, dry season, planting season. There are season of fishing. So these people they learn to be patience because you cannot fast forward nature. So the indigenous community they learn how to be adaptive to the season of nature. Therefore, they have high resilience. And then another thing that I notice is, uh, like beauty is something that, beauty is relative, right? Some people call it something beautiful, some people might not
Right.
beautiful. But in indigenous community, beauty is something that feels sacred. So feeling is much less, what do you call it, abstract. So when people feel like, wow, they feel attracted to a certain sacred tree or a spot in nature where you can see the mountain, for example, they naturally or culturally protect these places. So indigenous community, they know how to live one with nature because they are never separate from nature. They never feel themselves as a separate entity from nature. So they're always understanding of the pattern of nature, the changes of nature. So for them, those are not difficulties. Those are just the seasons and the changes. Does it make sense to you?
Yeah. This is very agree. And which of these universal patterns is the hardest to replicate in the modern corporate setting?
Well, hard to replicate, maybe like in corporate setting, you need to understand what is sacred, for example, right? What is sacred in Bandung is different to what is sacred in Bali. What is sacred in Jimbaran is different to what is sacred in Kelungkung, right? So to do that, you need to understand the local tradition. To understand the local tradition, you have to ask the local people because they already know what are sacred or untouchable. And then also, uh, so you have to understand as well how the decision making is being done in the local community, because some community they are led by elders and some are by some kind of like social system within the community. Some are by priest, and some are like mixed with government. So this kind of understanding of a community will usually helps if you want to enter to a new place or if you want to make a new project in a new place, because without understanding that, the community will feel disrespected, right? And it's not their job for you to like, oh, you have to understand our culture. They don't have to teach you that you have to have that understanding on how a community works. Therefore, when you make like a project or like a new development, it can be aligned with what the community needs or what the community already have.
Okay, that is so interesting, yeah. And we can jump to the next question and the second question. Okay, having worked across both large-scale government project and grassroots initiative, what practical science tell you community is truly sustainable in daily life, not just on paper, maybe?
Well, now sustainability is being used like a buzzword, right? Sustainability is like the new marketing word these days. While actually sustainability is really simple. Sustainability in real life, it is simple daily habits that keep things working. Without that, it's not fancy, it's nothing really spectacular. For example, a practical sign of a community that is truly sustainable, they maintain things before they break. For example, they clean their drain, they fix their pathway. They don't wait for disaster to come and then they fix it. They have a constant maintaining mentality. And then waste has a clear routine. So like composting is very normal in indigenous community. Then you, when you have a clear routine of waste, like not burning the waste and then not throwing the waste in random places, then the community is sustainable. When the community treats water like a resources, then is showing sustainability as well. Like the way they not dumping polluted materials to the river or to the water resources. Maybe they reuse or recycle their water by catching rainwater or something like this. And then another practical sign would be that local people actually can benefit from yeah, when local people benefit, not just jobs, yeah, but this can be skills, this can be ownership, this can be um, like addition of income. So when things are maintained, when waste has a clear routine, when water is treated like resources, and when local people actually benefit, then I would say that the community is showing a very sustainable indicators. Because yeah, I think that's and young people should be interested still in their culture, because what happened a lot in Indonesia is the young people don't want to take the culture again because they want to be more modern, like a lot of like in Indonesian community have traditional tattoos, for example. Tattoos are not decoration, tattoos are culture, right? The tattoos have meaning, right? The tattoos, and the meaning is not like modern people like, oh, I have a tattoo of my girlfriend. There's no such thing, right? The tattoo is of like that shows that they are already mature person, shows that they already do very difficult tasks in their culture, for example, things like that. The tattoo is a story of who they are, of who their tribes are. So I think when a community is still preserving all these things while can accept modernity, then they are very sustainable community.
Okay, and according to you, yeah, what is one simple habit maybe we could adopt in our own office or homes to support this?
Well, many, like like wastewater is definitely right. Like there's no point in wasting water. There's no point in not treating your waste. The especially as a corporate. right?
Okay.
Because as an individual it's difficult, but as a corporate it's not difficult, and it's not a reason not to do it. And then, like, of course, like a fair treatment. Fair treatment means fair treatment to people who are Muslim, people who are Christian, people who are Buddhist, people who are maybe uh, gay. These are all uh, a way of corporate to be more inclusive, to be more to celebrate diversity, instead of like, oh, you we can't accept you because you are like whatever, right? The modern workplace is sustainable in the sense that it can accept different people.
Okay. That is a great answer, yeah. And we can continue to the last question for you, Max.
Okay.
Okay. From your experience, bridging innovation and community project, where does modern innovation generally strengthen traditional culture, and where does it tend to cause intentionally?
Well, innovation helps culture if it makes life easier, right? So it makes life easier without taking control. For example, in Bali, we have Subak. So imagine innovation that helps farmers to take care of their farms, of their rice field, but not taking the control away from the farmers. So tools, for example, that makes them save time and reduce hard labor to do composting or to do irrigation or to do fertilizing, but they still have the control. And then innovation can help culture when they strengthen local skills and businesses. For example, innovation that helps improving local supply chain, like local bamboo, stone, local craft, local farming products, instead of importing or buying buying resources from other island or other place, worse other country. And also, innovation helps culture if it can be understood and relatable, but at the same time it can be repaired by the local. If you have something innovation, but every time it breaks you have to fly someone from China, that's not innovation, in my opinion. That's dependency. And but at the same time, like what you said, innovation can also harm some culture.
Yeah.
For example, we see it in Bali now, when I call it extraction. So extraction means they the development grows so fast in Bali, more villas, more real estate, more resort, more restaurant, without giving attention to water, without giving attention to waste, without giving attention to local community that exists already. Then slowly this culture and this infrastructure gets damaged. Then when it gets damaged, and everybody lose. So also, like, innovation can harm culture when you turn culture into decoration. So instead of like uh like in Bali, for example, you can make a villa Balinese style, but Balinese style doesn't mean you adopt the culture. You just adopt the Balinese building culture, for example, or architecture. So innovation can harm as well if it doesn't integrate themselves with the local community, if it doesn't integrate themselves with local infrastructure, then it can become actually a problem. And sometimes innovation is just another name for greed, right? So we need to be careful, and that's why sustainability is born, because sustainability is born from this kind of practices. Like, like, for example, we have palm oil in Indonesia, right? And then the past few years we have sustainable palm oil because we know just palm oil is not working. You know, it brings money to the rich guys, but the local community gets destroyed, right? Their waterways gets flooded, their land becomes polluted, their water resources becomes acidic. So then you will have the local community trying to destroy your palm oil, right? Because they hate you, and that makes sense because you design it wrong. So when something is not designed by incorporating local community, local resources, then there will be resistance. Sometimes fast, sometimes takes a while.
Okay. Okay, Max. Because we have a limited time, yeah, and thank you for your answer and sharing this eye-opening perspective, yeah, with us today. We are moving into our internal session now. You are more than welcome to say and join us if you like. However, we also understand if you have other commitments, yeah, and need to drop off. Either way, we truly appreciate your time. Once again, thank you, Max.
I will have to drop off because I have like a meeting in 20 minutes. But thank you, everybody. Like, I hope that helps, and feel free to get in touch if there's any question or anything that you would like to know about sustainability or community works that can help you in your career.
Yeah, thank you.
Max, can I ask you a question?
Oh, yeah, sure.
So, what do you think is the first step everyone here can take today to move just one step in the right direction towards more sustainable, more environmentally responsible thinking, actions, behavior?
I think like the easiest way, right? Like, for example, Indonesians, why don't we separate our waste?
Mm,
You know, Indonesians don't
yeah,
separate waste even at home, right? And if you don't separate at home, of course you don't do it anywhere else, because separating waste, if you go to Europe, people are not like smart and then, oh, I know where to put this in which box. It's because they separate since their baby, so it's a habit, right? And also, like, for example, all these little habits, for example, don't brush your teeth and turn on the tap. It's a very simple habit, right? And sustainability looks exactly like that. Imagine if 50 of you do that every day, how much water we save, right? Don't
right.
don't don't waste things when you because it's not infinite. If you think, oh, water is never ending, then this is the same problem why we have extinction of animals, because we said, oh, there's so much fish in the ocean, we're gonna fish it all the time and there will always be fish, and suddenly we don't have fish. Right?
Correct. Okay. So we need to conserve our resources and be
Yeah, and, and,
mindful.
and I think like practicing with the most simple way, like learn to separate, learn to understand what kind of waste we produce in daily life, right? And then learn how to be mindful of your water, or because even a property can be sustainable, right? Everything can be sustainable, even a person can be sustainable, like, by bringing tumbler, by bringing apa nih, rantang, all those little things that people do. It's a matter of choice, and if more people choose that way, then suddenly there's no need for the sellers to sell all those things anymore because nobody's buying them.
That's good. I like it. Somebody needs to speak
Yeah.
in the direction where people need to focus on. And it takes courage to do that. Appreciate coming in to tell us about that, Mr. Max Girl.
No, it's my honor.
Ours as well. Okay.
Okay, I'll let you guys back to your team meeting and continue your day. Please keep it, as like I told you, you can keep in touch through Ega. He knows my contact, and then all the best for your future and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy
Bye,
New Year.
everybody.
Bye. See you. Okay, moving to on our next agenda, we have Mr. Jing. Over to you, Mr. Jing.
Okay. Let me just check real quick to see if we're keeping this culture. I guess this question is to Furkan and Rama. Normally, at the beginning of the year, we have a big numbers review. Are we doing that today, or
We
no?
have already
No?
put it down, put that down in, not we as in we, me and Rama, but there
Yeah.
is already, I believe, the effort from marketing team to put that down in
Okay,
the.
very good, very good. I'll let them carry on with that section then. I was just checking on Data Vista. I saw there was a big numbers tab. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna just listen to everyone else do the all hands today. I just want to listen and see what other people have to say. I think I usually talk a lot, right? So today I'm gonna choose to listen more. Okay, just give my time, Mega, to the next person.
Okay. We continue to
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Kaiga. Okay. Next, we move to the next session is hospitality and revenue target. Because Mas Hafiz flight to Bali, this session will be present by Kak Furkon. Kak Furkon, floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Kak Ardi, and also good morning, everyone. This is the first all hands of January 2026, and this is the report of the semester performance, especially part of hospitality that Mas Hafiz already compiled. So I will be reading on his behalf. And this is, what property is this? Anyone could guess? Except from marketing onboarding team, ya.
I'm from Ryder. It's Drive Balangan 10.
Okay, yeah, that's correct, Fasya. Thank you for participating. Jason, telat kamu, Jason. Okay, so this is Drift Balangan 10, and it's just launched earlier in January 2026, and we have already reserved the reservation that is actually already mostly occupied the January month for Drift Balangan, because there is a one long reservation. So that is very good. Thank you very much, everyone, and let's keep up our effort to make sure that we manage this property correctly. And yes, moving forward into the next slide, I believe this is already made aware of about our semester 8 target, so I'm not reading it at the moment. And we can proceed into the hospitality target achievements. Next slide, please. So I would like to give a heads up in advance that this is a pretty good week for the hospitality target achievements, because we see many uptrends in the target breakdowns, and we will be seeing it one by one, starting from the accuracy. So let's move into the next slide. Accuracy, we got an increase by 0.1% compared to last week, and these are the properties that supports in delivering. This is the properties that is actually supports in delivering the 5 stars for the accuracy. Next slide, please. And this is the MSM activities attributed into the accuracy improvement. There is a collaboration between Gray, Yosef, and also Hafiz and Nadia as well. Moving forward into the next one, there is a check-in. We also got increased by 0.1%, and next slide. On the next slide, we will be seeing the listed properties that is contributing into this good increase. And at the moment, there is no MSM activities attributed into the check-in improvement, so we move directly into the cleanliness. And cleanliness, we got pretty big bump up at 0.3% compared to last week. And these are, and on the next slide, we will be seeing the properties that is contributing into the cleanliness improvement. So on the next slide as well, you will be seeing several of MSM activities that is attributed into the cleanliness improvement. There are several MSM activities that is still actually ongoing at this moment. Collaboration from Rama, Fasya, Gray, and also Bayu and Hanza as well. Next slide, please. There is a communication, and this is the only metric that is not going up this week, but at least we do not get even worse. We are stagnant at this point. And on the next slide, we will be seeing the list of properties that is attributed into the communication rating stagnant level, and we will be because there is no MSM attributed, we will be moving into the next target breakdowns, which is on the location. Location also got a pretty high increase at 0.3%. And these are the properties that is contributed into the improvement. And so far, there is no MSM activities attributed into the location. And last one is value. Value got an increase by 0.2%. And there are several also properties that also contributed, quite many. And there's no MSM attributed yet in this instance. So all in all, now we are currently at 86.4%. We're still like minus. It should be like minus 0.8 for first rating to achieve our target for this semester. It should be 0.6, not 0.8. So yeah, it should be revised, and I will revise it directly after this. So next, on the next slide, please. Yep, this is the the overall semester target progression so far. And next slide. On the last 7 days, we've started to see improvement. However, this is not the level of expectation that we are aiming. We still aiming for a better improvement in the upcoming weeks on the January 2026. Okay, moving forward. So these are the several properties that contributed into the overall rating for 5-star improvements. And next slide, you will be also seeing the MSM contributions from several people that actually has been also informed regarding the contributions on the hospitality rating as well. Okay, so that's the update from the hospitality side. And now let's move on into the partner stability target achievement. So up until now, there is no further updates. And next slide, please. Up until there's no further update from the previous report. The number remains the same. However, we need to be alerted because several properties potentially would like to request for offboarding due to several issues, and that needs to be realigned to make sure that these properties not falling into the budget of churn as well. Okay. Next slide, please. Before moving into the revenue, there are several properties that is quite potentially to be offboarded includes Villa Mena, Villa Name, and also Kanaka Cottage. So to make sure about the awareness about the everyone's here. And now we are moving on into the revenue target achievements. So we are currently surpassing the 1.7 million threshold on the current progress. We still have around 85 days or around 2 months and 3 weeks to achieve the the revenue target there. We are intended at $3 million up until this point. So yeah, there is the report for the semester target achievement. Thank you very much, Kak Ardi. Back to you.
Okay, thank you Kak Furqan for the behalf Kak Hafiz, and we move to company team target and achievement that will be delivered by Kak Furqan. Kak Furqan, floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Kak Ardi. So this is the December 2025 recap. As also Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Bella. So we will be okay. Then it will be adjusted later on after the all hands for the semester target at 3.1 million USD. And yeah, moving forward into the December 2025 recap, as we have announced it on this Slack channel, that out of 4 targets that we have, we didn't achieve 3 of them. That includes the revenue, 5-star percentage, and also starting revenue target for January. And so our finish line at this moment, that our revenue target achievement is at 423,000 USD, 789, or accounting around 86.66% of the progress. And there are several MSM attributed into the revenue target which is still the same compared to last week. And next one, regarding the 5-star percentage or hospitality, we didn't hit the target. Our achievement for December is at 86.2%, or accounting around 98.51%. So these are the several MSM activities that you can see that is either not impacting, having delayed, or impacting into the hospitality target. However, if you scroll up a bit, Ega, we can see that there are scroll up a bit to the top. Thank you. We can see that there are top 3 contributing factors in the downtrend for December 2025, which is the dragging factors into the hospitality. The first one is location, the second one is cleanliness, and the third one is accuracy. Please note that this is the compilation of the whole December reviews. Starting that includes the early or starting of December as well. And next one, regarding the brand target, we achieved the brand target at this moment, leaving around 13,000 USD budget. And there are quite also several MSM activities that actually be supporting the target. However, most of them are not impactful, and several of them still having like a delayed progress as well. So this could be taken into consideration, that our effort in terms of churn having like quite latency into the effects. So yeah, we need to take that into account and also be patient to see the result. And last one, regarding the starting revenue target of January, our current achievement, our achievement for December for the starting revenue target January is around 233,000 USD, accounting around 93% of the target. And there is one impactful MSM activities that is contributed into the into this, that is the collaboration between Kayla and also Titan in this case. Okay, so that is the target recap. That is the achievement recap, and also the this target recap for the December 2025. And in December, we managed to have 71% occupancy, 25% expired dates, 4% maintenance, and also 1% under usage. This is, and later on, if you scroll down a bit, we can see several graphs that you can see here about our achievement for December 2025. And if you scroll down a bit, there are several breakdowns coming from our revenue management team that already compiled this. So this is the comparison between the target and also the achievement from several classifications of the revenue of the revenue contributor from managed OM. it didn't meet the intended target. For non-reliable AUM, it also didn't meet the intended target. For the new AUM and also release trends, yeah, all of them are not meeting the intended target that is set. So revenue management team also have noted several things that what we could improve that you can see also read in this document. However, there are several things that I would like to emphasize that regarding the two types of interesting insights coming from the revenue management team. So there are three properties that is underperforming, undermanaged AUM. The first one is Kembang Kuning, the second one is the Bingi Greenview, and the third one is Villa Kaba and Kama. And on the other side, there are several non-reliable AUM that is outperforming, meeting or even exceeding the expectations. Mo Cactus Guest House, Villa Sierra, and also Kaja Asri Estate. So yeah, this could be also be taken into consideration for the properties transformation as well. Part of the 3S and also be delivered through or executed by PPM. Okay, scroll down. You will also see the hospitality achievement screenshots and also churn achievement screenshots. And if you scroll down as well, there will be a January 2026 target, our first month of the year. So for the revenue target, we are set at 460,000 USD, aiming around 4% year-on-year growth. And for 5 sales percentage, we will be keeping it at the same level now at the 7.5%. Brand target be adjusted or be reduced from last month at 22,000 USD to also compensate and also meeting the only left budget. And the starting revenue target for February is at 240,000 USD with maximum occupancy 35% to achieve the bonus boost. So these are the target breakdowns for January and also the recap for December. Thank you very much everyone for listening. Back to you, Kak Ardi.
Okay, thank you, Kak Furqon. We move to the next session is weekly mission inspiration. As we can see, there's a lot of innovation this week. First, we start from Bukit Vista mission is to inspire delight through hospitality innovation that positively transform our partners. Let's start with Kak Lutfi. Kak Lutfi, floor is yours.
Okay, so the first one, smart alarm. Can you open up that image, Sir Ega? Okay, so this research tries to answer a problem. How do we detect nights that have passed their golden runway? So you might ask, what is a runway? So let's say a specific night, let's say Christmas. The runway is the number of days between the date, the check-in date, and the present time. So, oh yeah, let's just say tomorrow. Let's say I want to book a booking tomorrow. That date, 7th of January, has a runway of 1 day. That means the date is last minute. Meanwhile, if I want to book a Christmas date in 2026, it still has a really long runway in lead time of months before I will check in if I book now. So this research tries to measure the urgency of unsold nights based on how close they are to the current date, to how close they are to expiration, and whether they have missed their golden window compared to the property. So dates that are getting close to expiration and have passed their golden windows will be marked as higher priority than days that have not. So for example, when a property usually have bookings in advance 30 days forward, but it has a date that is unsold, that we only have 5 days left to sell, and the price hasn't been adjusted, this signal will flag it as a higher priority urgency item. Sorry if I explain it a bit roughly. So yeah, this is the innovation, the smart alarm for prioritizing unsold dates.
Okay, Kak Lutfi, what impact of this innovation to our revenue or hospitality rating? I see this is so good. So
Okay, so
impact.
by knowing which dates have the highest urgency, they represent the nights that have the most potential to be lost. So if we don't adjust the nights that have high urgency, then they will become unsold nights and our revenue will be lower than if we were to act and got those nights sold.
So this is a signal to us. Yeah?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's good. Okay, we move to the next session and next innovation from Kak Lutfi again. Kak Lutfi
Okay.
first.
So in this one, we analyzed 40 properties that was active since 2024. And we compared their performance, those 40 properties, with their performance in 2025. And we observed a decline in revenue of around $174,000 across 40 properties and year over year for 5 months between August and December. Now, in this decline, we managed to measure the decline between uncontrollable loss, which is the market, and which includes market change or demand shifts, and the controllable loss that we can control, such as quality-driven issue that causes lower revenue or pricing decisions that causes less revenue as well. So they represent 30%, uncontrollable loss 70%. Now, from this research, we can then identify properties that are more resilient in the market, aka have less uncontrollable loss. Identify what makes those properties more resilient, write down their traits, and onboard properties that are similar to the properties that are resilient, which means we can onboard higher quality properties that will withstand the market of today and market of the future, hopefully. And this research also allows us to measure future dates as well and detect early loss signals. So this impacts our revenue because it can improve property onboarding selection, the selection of better properties that can withstand the market.
Okay, thank you, Kak Lutfi. This is innovation will be a signal for standard quality for the next property, right? Okay, we move to the next innovation from inspiring the hospitality industry through technological innovation. Start with Kak Wendy. Kak Wendy, floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Gandhi. So I'll just share my screen quickly. Thank you, Vega. Okay, is it visible? I'm opening the bigger. It's on property list page. Just give a quick demo regarding the new feature, bigger, which is the property status message. It's basically an input field that you can, where you can modify the property status message. For example, if you submit the results, anything you want, you can just give it a message. It will become a feedback for the user later. For example, if you set it like this, you're now officially PV partner. It will displayed on DVGo later, it will help the partners of property sign up, self-sign up project. I will just share the attachment to make it. It will show like this in DVGo. As you can see, your request to join this property is awaiting approval. The message will be displayed here in DVGo. So the user have a clear status or clear message regarding their property process behind the scene. So if the property is still on process, they can see the message like, oh, okay, I still have to wait and etc. Or if they already have already become our partner, they will be notified by the message here. So I think that's it regarding the impact. It will impact the PM to AUM since it will improve the transparency for partners regarding their property's progress and expected to positively impact the conversion from subscriber to partner later. I think that's all for me. Back to Randy and Ega. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kak Wendy, for the explanation, the impact for revenue and hospitality. Next, we move to Kak Ega.
Okay, let me share my screen ya from my phone. Okay, good morning everyone. Today I'd like to share an update on the Bivigo app. We've just launched the self-property sign-up feature. Basically, subscriber can add their own property directly through the app. This is a huge win for us as it will significantly reduce our manual workload. Let's jump straight into the demo. I'll start sharing the screen. Okay, I'm using a subscriber account for this. As you can see, for subscriber account, access to the My Property and calendar page is currently restricted. Let's click Add Property and then hit button Let's Go Nah, on this page, user are asked to choose their role either as an owner or staff. If they choose staff, they need to input property ID and wait owner approval before they can use Bivigo. For this demo, I select property owner Okay, and click next. Okay, we have two inputs Next, I input in property ID. And the property is appear Okay, this is example for owner that who has the property, and we can create new one. Okay. There are several mandatory and optional field Okay, and I will submit. And now we see a summary showing our chosen role the property name and the address. If everything looks correct, just click submit. Okay, when successful, the thank you page appears with some brief info about the submitted property. Let's click go to my property page. Okay, you'll notice the my property page layout has changed. Since generating a contract takes sometimes, I want demo it live ya. But once it's ready to sign, the user will see a screen like this ya. Nah, it's very straightforward. And in case a property gets reject, this is what the user will see. Nah, the message display here is dynamic ya, and is fetched directly from Bigger FA, and this is Kak Wendy Prison. Okay. Okay, once successful ya, in all steps are complete, the user is officially ready for the onboarding stage. Okay. One more thing before I wrap up ya. Remember how staff can request to join a property. Let's see how an owner approve that. Okay, we just could go to the My Property page. Nah, click on the team section. And for any staff awaiting approval, an approve button will appear ya. Owner also have the option to reject if the request was met in error. Approve, and then the tester bro is staff for Acala right now. Okay, this is increase PAUM by reducing registration friction, allowing potential partners to list their property instantly at any time, and accelerates the conversion from PAUM to AUM by streamlining the verification and contract signing process within a single structure platform. All right, that's all for the BVG update today. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you Kak Ega for the update. This is aligned with the innovation that Kak Wendy presented before. This is a big win if this is implemented well, yeah, because reduce PUM and IUM to stream registration to our property. So before we move to the next, I will announce there will be 10 minutes for extend this all hand session. So okay, we move to the next is Coffee D. Coffee D, floor is yours.
Okay. Have you ever asked yourself whether data is available in Data Vista? Of course, yeah, because I receive a lot of messages like that on a weekly basis. And Bella also, and also Lutfi also received that kind of message in OPSEC support. So let me share my screen. So Data Vista has accumulated over the years since Kabayu initiated it about 4 years ago. It now has about 1,200 queries in Data Vista. And I don't think any human can remember that. Even I remember only like some important ones when I don't even remember what I made 2 years ago or 3 years ago. But with AI, it's possible now. We leverage Notebook LM, and we take in the queries in Data Vista, and we have already a workflow here that you can also ask to the Notebook LM itself on how to update the knowledge of the tool. It's separated in another collab that will be integrated to workflow. And what it does is it will take in the list of queries and try to describe it, include it in the and add the tags and include it in knowledge, such that you'll be able to ask questions about Data Vista, whether it will be query availability or data availability, or whether Data Vista contains data that will help with your research. Combining multiple queries is possible, and what is not available, so that you can request it through OPSEC support. So how do you access it? First, in the OPSEC support, open the bookmark, and in the bookmark you will see this link about Data Vista, along with the one that I presented 2 weeks ago about the automation task and data retrieval for bigger extension market. So you click on it for the resources, and you just start asking questions. So how will this be impactful? It depends on you, right? So when you're if you're doing database research on PAUM, then it will be useful for PAUM. If you're using for AUM, then it will be useful for AUM. If you're using for churn to detect partner sentiment and analyze the data, then it will be useful for to reduce churn. So how this tool will be useful is dependent on how you use this tool. So yeah, be sure to try it out there.
Okay, thank you, Kak Vidi. For general tools, the utility tools that can help our daily tasks. So we can ask Notebook LM to asking this is query already or not in the Data Vista. Thank you. Okay, we move to the next is Kak Reza. Kak Reza, floor is yours. Sorry, Kak Reza, your voice so little.
Is now more audible?
Oh yeah, yes, thank you.
Okay, can you show my share screen?
Yes, Kak.
Okay, so this is the item that's just released the new feature, which is the housekeeping group feature. So you can find it in the filter section in the right below here. So in this feature, user now can viewing all the property or just internal property here. So also this is the new filter, which is housekeeper group. You can choose which is the group you want to show, like this one is our group, or maybe group 1 like this, or maybe group 2. So this is feature still have some data limitation because the view property coordinate in our database are inaccurate and need to be backfiled. So with this feature, we expect to improve operational efficiency, task accuracy, and overall team performance for operational team, which can ultimately support better service delivery and contribute to the revenue growth. So that's, I think, that I want to show to you all. If you have any feedback for this item development, please let me know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kak Reza, for the delivering innovation about Ether. Okay, we move next to the core value recognition. There's a lot core value. We start from recruitment Bukit Vista. Is that yours, Mr. Jing?
Yeah, sir, Artie. I'm
Yes.
going to start first. Okay. My first core value recognition goes to Hafiz. So Hafiz is, as we know, en route to Bali. And I think that's rising to the challenge. So Hafiz has been recently promoted. He's been given more opportunities and challenges. So he's going right to where the thick of the problem is, to go where the challenges are. That requires courage, character, and it's something that we like to see. So congratulations, Hafiz. That's a very nice core value recognition. The next three are for Khan, Bella, and Kyla. I've been watching these three characters combined to work together on many things, right? On operations, on new AUM. And recently, I was happy to see that they've been paid commissions and also seen some micro promotions happen as well. So the reason why this is, I think this is important, is this work sometimes is hard to see if there's anything happening. Takes, I think somebody said the word patience. It's not like you can actually get immediate reaction. So never settle. That's what never settle means. Eventually there is a breakthrough, but it does take time. Okay, next, this is kind of an ensemble recognition for just adopting good practices. It goes to Lutfi, Bella, Edgar, Furkan, and Vidi for inspiring delight. Many times during the all hands, people are talking about something within their own domain, such as revenue management or whatever. It could be quite difficult for those who are lay people, not experts, to understand what they're talking about. So I think this visual communication and taking an approach of showing rather than telling is a strong culture. And I think this is especially important because we have generally a communication problem with the inside world and the outside world. We're very smart people. We have a lot of very, very advanced thinking. That's not like the people all over everywhere can understand what we're actually saying. So I think this new level of using graphical communication to get the idea across is strong. So these are some people who I just remember using it. There's probably more, but use graphical communication to show, don't tell. It's good for brand and it's good for Boogie Vista. Okay, those are my three.
Okay, so thank you for the core value recognition. The next one is from Kak Gani. Kak Gani.
Thank you, Ardi. Good morning, everyone. So I'd like to recognize Reza for Inspired Delight because the silence progression. So I don't brief Reza as many, but Reza silently give a proposal to me. Hey, what if I build this one? What if I propose to build feature on Budi like this one? So it's easier to work with. And the recent one is the Ether group. I just said that, hey, this is have a benefit for example, for Fasha to managing the group, but it's just low priority. It is like a side project, but it's like a surprise when seeing the progression and then the result is shown. So good work on that, Reza.
Okay, thank you, Kak Gani, for recognize Reza. We move to the next session is announcement, but before we move to announcement, looks like the personal updates will be not in our session today. So if someone not feeling personal update, there will be some times until the end of day. So please fill the personal update. Okay, next for the announcement will be present by Kak Gani. Kak Gani, floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Ardi. So I'd like to share to everyone that Weda has decided to resign with the last day on 12th January, and we will moving on to focus on his future education. We want to sincerely thank Weda for all the contribution and effort during this time with Bukit Vista, and we will wish all the best for your next chapter. Regarding the transition, we already have the arrangement in place, led by Hafiz being the OTA marketing manager, and so ongoing work will continue smoothly. That's announcement from me. Back to you, Ardi.
Okay, that was the last session from this all hands meeting. So we move. I will be bring it back to Kak Ega. Kak Ega first.
Okay, I believe Mr. Jing is.
I have a fun video of Weda. So I took this as one of my first Boogie Vista videos.
So there's no audio?
No audio, yeah. Okay. I'm not sure why that's happening. Here, I'll just leave the link over here and you guys can watch it. I thought it was a cute video. So Ega's been really good. We would like to honor Ega's employment during his time here and wish him all the best. If you want to like that video, it was a fun video I did with Ega when we were doing a property testing. And I think we have, Ega's probably, this is why the big numbers we should really do, guys, because I think probably
Sir, it's Weda, not Ega.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
Weda, not Ega.
Thank you. Thank you. Great. Okay. My bad. No coffee. Okay. Anyway. Yes. Weda. Okay. Weda. I lost my train of thought now. Oh, got it back. So I was going to say, Weda's pictures have probably been seen by, I don't know, maybe millions of people if you really do the numbers on it. If you count up all the photos and all the listings, it's pretty impactful. So anyways, yeah, that's my 2 bits. But look on the video and show some love, yeah, because I think we've had a good run. All right.
Okay, thank you for coming, all hands, this week. Don't forget to fill the personal update by end of day, and see you on the next all hands. Bye bye.
Thank you all.